Good afternoon and welcome back to the NWR Virtual Investor Conference Series 11. I'm your host today, Banjo Blake, and up next we have AD1 Holdings. AD1 Holdings is an ASX-listed technology company focused on creating and investing in market-leading software businesses. AD1 is seeking to deliver strong shareholder returns through a diversified global portfolio of software-as-a-service platform brands aligned to target customer segments. Speaking on behalf of AD1 today is CEO Brendan Kavenagh. Brendan joined AD1 almost 12 months ago and has a long tenure in managerial and consulting roles throughout his career. Thanks for joining me today, Brendan, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Banjo, and thanks NWR for having me here today, and for everyone for being on this session. Today I'm just going to walk you through a little bit about who AD1 are, the portfolio of businesses that we currently have, and answer some questions at the end. And hopefully you're excited about this business as we are. Normal disclosures apply. And look, as Banjo just mentioned, we are a scalable SaaS business, sticky customer base with good solid annuity revenues. What's really important to our businesses is customer retention. So our product needs to support that, and typically our products are embedded into the customer process with the ultimate aim of creating efficiencies and driving value for the customer. The revenue of the businesses, as you can see there in terms of compound annual growth rate over the 2 years, is 65%. We expect that to continue. Our customer growth we're really pleased with heading north now of well over 125 plus customers, and as I mentioned, a scalable revenue stream. It's interesting in the SaaS world, the SaaS industry in 2015 was valued at about $31.5 billion globally. 2022, the expectation is that we'll be sitting around the 170, but the big news is it's expected to grow to about 436 billion by 2025. They're staggering numbers, but what it means is that for those positioned in the right place at the right time, have plenty of opportunity to grow and provide value to the rest of the business world over that period of time. We're really excited about our growth. If anyone's had the chance to read any of our announcements, you'd be aware that we are moving into the US really well, I suppose, supported by that market with one of our key products in the HR tech space. And our board are very committed to seeing this growth opportunity realised, with holding 35% stock on issue. This is a little bit of our journey from July back in 2020. You'll see some of our customers that have supported us through this, and clearly we've supported them with great product. But we've got some really good milestones in here, securing, back in 2020, resecuring, government departments. They're very difficult to get, to renew them and have those cornerstoning our business is fantastic. We've had some really good success in our utilities business, which I'll speak a little bit more about. And Art of Mentoring has been a fabulous growth story, which we acquired back in October 20. So we're really excited about the growth of that business and what it does. And then we've secured some cornerstone investors along the way, but we've also participated in private placement back there in October, and we've secured the support of Pure through a funding facility at the end of December. March quarter, good quarter. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So these are the four businesses, portfolio of software businesses, focusing on the HR tech services, and that is a rapidly expanding sector. So you can see from the left the HR SaaS technology services there, to the left Apply Direct and Jobtail. If I just touch on a little bit of these, because it's really important, because this underpins our growth and our acquisition strategy moving forward. So Apply Direct is the longest of the businesses. Apply Direct came about creating one voice, one brand for what is a New South Wales government. So if you think about, I don't know if people here are too familiar with the recruitment process or talent attraction or employer value propositions, but in a world that's really fighting for talent and it's so competitive, it's really important to be able to attract, engage, develop and retain staff. And the Apply Direct product is all about that attraction piece. It's about giving the organisation a voice and a brand through one platform so that they can attract talent, but more so talent can go to one place and decide, make an informed decision about what type of job they'd like to apply for, what type of organisation within the government they'd like to work for. So we've you can hopefully read those numbers, but the Apply Direct product, process about 1.3 million applications a year. In 2021, about 7 million visitors, 22, that it's north of that. So Apply Direct, if you think attract, and that represents government and associations, and it gives them one brand, although many departments underneath you can leverage that one brand. Now, JobTail is our newest initiative. JobTail is really an iteration of where we thought the market was heading, but not 98% of companies in Australia, for example, have 200 or less employees. Those companies are also fighting for talent, and a lot of those companies can't afford to go and engage external companies to run their process for them. And a lot of them are so busy, and with turnover of 20%, great resignation we've probably all heard about, up to 40%, it's really expensive. It's really expensive, and it's super frustrating. So JobTail has come about through the opportunity to use and think differently about the platforms that we do typically provide with Apply Direct, and give managers the voice to design their own job description, design their own value proposition for why people might want to join their organisation. It's a templated, it's a drop and drag, it's smart technology. It tells the story of a business in one spot. It's released to their network. Interestingly, I've got a stat here. 87% of the global workforce are able to review new opportunities when they're referred by someone they know. So if we can give a tool to a hiring manager who can go direct to market through their network, and a candidate on the other end sees something, they can read through everything about the job, they can watch video, they can learn about the culture, all in the one space without having to get out and go to a career site and then decide to apply or schedule an interview with a hiring manager. That is really powerful. You can see there, we've already, just through the MVP and research we're doing, we've signed up 50 pilot customers. We're aiming to have about 100. Enough on that. Mentoring solution software. Art of mentoring. This is, before I mention attract and engage talent, Art of mentoring is all about the development and bringing people on a learning journey. And they have a wonderful platform. They also provide the online training and everything that goes with that, from setting up mentoring programs, the training for programs, implementing and executing programs. This is a business that started off about 7 years ago, and it is going from strength to strength. So in the quarter we just had, it's about 400% up on the same period last year, and they'll have another record year this year. We've got some really strong interest in the US. We signed up a channel partner last year called HR.com. They've got 19 million members. The size of the US market we're discovering is phenomenal. Our product's really welcomed over there. We've just had a discovery trip, and we've identified and we're building a really strong pipeline. So that's really exciting for us. Currently, AOM in about 26 different countries, and runs a range of programs from ethical mentoring programs to women's programs to Indigenous mentoring programs and leadership. Utility software services, sitting in our niche SaaS services, provides the, I suppose, the engine room for electricity at the moment, energy retailers. Again, strong business, strong returns. It's with USS, we've been investing in product so that we can expand more rapidly. So, but a great business model. Some of our customers, a couple of these have signed up for MVP, so we're quite excited about that. So you probably heard people mention a little bit about the pandemic today, and we've probably all heard enough about the pandemic. We know that it's had its impact, and I suppose in the space that we're playing in the SaaS world, it's provides us with enormous opportunities. So, and it's fast-tracked the need for organisations to automate all services, but given people are so important, how we automate the attraction, the engagement, how to recruit, develop, retain talent is super important. In fact, you can see there that 97% of CEOs surveyed by Deloitte view talent as their biggest priority and their biggest threat. So it's our job and it's our intent to make that process easier, more cost effective, and give control back to organisations, hiring managers and people to make better informed decisions as to where they work and what they want to do. But look, it's certainly gaining a lot of attraction out in market, with 38 billion invested in human capital management and acquisition, acquisition since 2017 and growing. Look, if you're finding it hard to attract talent, there are options there. You can do it yourself. You can rely on technology, but the key is in retaining talent, and that's where we're seeing a lot of interest. So, our scalable software business model, here it is, very quickly: apply direct, job tail, art of mentoring, and USS, I refer to it as utility software services, all attract a monthly fee. So that's the ARR. And then typically there's an upfront cost for implementation. The size and length of implementation vary depending on customization, and the cost supports that. And you can see there the average annual revenue per customer. Job tail, you'll see there, is a little bit different to the others. That's because it's so scalable. That's about credit card sign up and follow the prompts, follow the templates, and you're away. Whereas the others just provide a little bit more to it, where it does involve some human interaction. Q3 just passed. 17 new customers added across the verticals, and I mentioned the growth of AOM, steady increase in USS with growth of about 18%, and Apply Directs continue just to have some growth there. US channel partners will have some more news on our growth story there in terms of offshore expansion soon, and likewise some good news coming out of the other businesses. Group revenue, you can see there, I won't go through every line, but the standout point here is the team's been able to achieve the FY21 number in the first 3 quarters of this year, so that's good news for us, and we'll continue to drive growth and logos and support customers to get the best out of the products. Keen to grow the portfolio of the global software businesses. We'll continue to invest in our customer base. We're very keen on our offshore expansion, but likewise there's lots of opportunity here locally. So we'll continue to push that through. Look, cross-selling synergies, very high on the agenda, particularly across the HR tech space. M&A remains core to expanding our services, and we're on the lookout for any strategic acquisitions that supports our existing portfolio of businesses. Just probably running out of time, but here's the board. The board's about 80 years of combined experience, very experienced in startups, investing in SaaS businesses, running utilities and mergers and acquisitions. Melissa there, who is founder of Art of Mentoring. That sort of brings us to a wrap. I think, Banjo, are there any questions?
Yep. Thanks for the presentation today, Brendan. Really appreciate giving an insight into AD1 Holdings. I've got a few questions here. What's the revenue split between HR technology, SaaS services, and niche SaaS services, and where do you see the growth coming from in the future?
Yeah, look, so good question. If you'd asked me that a couple of years ago, the answer would be very different. But the split is probably 50-50 between niche and HR tech at this point, with HR tech being the fastest growing.
Thanks for that. Any news on what the next steps are with USS? You mentioned in the quarterly something about a marketing drive and possible product innovation. And are there any new contracts being pursued?
Yeah, so absolutely new contracts are being pursued, but we're also focused on executing on existing. So we're very focused on client retention. You see earlier we're up at the 90% mark, and as well as renewal. So focused on that, focused on product. Look, the space is highly competitive. We're focused on new market entrants and the tier 3 space in the billing area. We've got some pipeline that's close to converting, but hasn't converted yet. And so we're working hard on getting that over the line.
Thanks, Brendan. Moving on to the next question. Will future M&A targets likely be offshore or domestic? And are you seeing more opportunities for M&A in HR technology SaaS services or in niche SaaS services? So
future acquisitions will be defined by what's complementary to the existing portfolio, and where there's local opportunity and offshore opportunity, we'd pursue it. So, we're leading into North America with Art of Mentoring. Any acquisition that supported that growth and gave it more substance and support, we jump at, and provided it was, earnings per share accretive and supportive of the overall business strategy and direction.
Thanks, Brendan. Next question. You mentioned that the group's ARR for the financial year 2021 was 82%. Do you see this number increasing into the 90s in the next few years?
Yeah, look, I do. As we, the SaaS business is, it's got to be scalable, and we've got to be able to create the software that ultimately is quick to implement and affordable. So we're, you mentioned USS before. We're working hard in bringing that software so that it's responsive to the complexity and within that regulatory environment. But yes is the answer. We're yes. Less time spent on projects and revenue and customizations, and more on rolling out new product is the way to go.
And I think we've got time for one more question. You mentioned that you're focusing on expanding domestically and into North America. Are there plans to expand into any additional regions?
Look, I mentioned earlier we're in approximately 28 different countries in different capacities, and I think the trick is not to cut off more than you can chew. So certainly North America is where the immediate opportunity is, and clearly long term. It's a massive market, and we're discovering that right now. Just how big that is and the opportunity. Asia Pac would be next. So and we've got some customers based over there as well. So, but clearly North America is the clear focus for the moment.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Brendan, for your time. And we loved having you on the NWR conference today. Thanks again.
Thanks, Banjo. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone.